So the first four questions were asking us to find the equation of a line that is either parallel or perpendicular to the given line and passes through the given point. So if we're talking about two lines being parallel, we know that they will not what? They will not cross. They will not intersect because by definition, parallel lines are two lines that do not cross or intersect. So if they're not going to cross or intersect, it means if two lines are parallel, they're going to have the exact same slope. So from the given line, the slope is negative 2/3. So the slope of our new line should be what? Negative 2/3, because the slopes are going to be the same. So the slope of the new line should be negative 2/3. So when I went through and was grading this, I assigned 1 point to finding the correct slope. So if you're able to find the correct slope, you got a point. So if I circled the slope at some point on your paper, I was giving you the points for that there. Now to find the equation, we used y minus y1 equals m times x1. We use this formula here. Because really that equation that they gave us to start with, we just needed the slope. Because we know that they're parallel, so the slopes are going to be the exact same. I don't need any of the rest of it. This point passes through our new line. It is contained on the line. Now this formula here is the point slope form because x1 and y1 are a point. And I have a point, yes? 6, negative 4. And it always comes in the form of x comma y. So the first value is x, the second value is y. So here, y minus our point, which would be equals. Our slope we found was negative 2/3. X minus. So for x1, y1, I plugged in the values of x and y. And we found that the slope is negative 2/3. We plugged it in. Any questions on this here? Now the equation of a line is always going to, we want it in the form of y equals mx plus b. We want the y by itself. That's the only thing we have to do at this point is get y by itself. Well, here the negative and negative would make a? Yes. Yes. Yes, and that's what we'll do here now. Yep. Because I just wanted to take care of the negative 4 plus, and exactly, Logan, so now we would distribute the negative 2/3. Here we would have y plus 4 equals negative 2/3 times x is 4. Negative 2/3 times negative 6. A negative and a negative would make a? So we know it's plus. And 2/3 times 6 would be 4. And again, we could have plugged that into a calculator and it would have told us. Now we said the slope was negative 2/3, right? Y equals mx plus b. So it will be the same number in front of x. Is y by itself?
No. Minus 4 on both sides.
Because 4 minus 4 is 0. We'll bring down the negative 2/3 x. And here 4 minus 4 is? That's it. And that's it. Yeah, that's it. Because all it's asking for is the equation of the line that is parallel to the given line. So it is parallel because they have the same slope. And we plug that point in to find which equation actually passes through that point, contains that point. And that's it. So we're just finding the equation. Any other questions on this here? Let's look at the next one. Find the line parallel to the given line and passes through the point, through the given point. So if they are parallel, they have the same slope. So the slope of our new line would be what? -7, because we're taking it straight from the equation, y equals mx plus b. So our new slope is -7. And do we have a point? The point is -3, 2.
Are we going to be able to get this one?
Not this, but you are able to use the review sheet, which does have these. Now, let's plug our point in to this here and the slope. So the point is -3, 2. The y value of the point is 2. The x value is, and the slope is. So really the order in which we plug these in doesn't really matter as long as y goes with y, x goes with x, and the slope is plugged in for m. Questions on this here? Well, here a negative and negative make a positive. Now it will be negative eventually, yes. Because we do need to distribute the -7. -7x. -7 times +3 is -21. Add 2 to both sides. Because the -2 plus 2 will simplify out to 0, leaving us with just y is equal to x minus 19. Yes, because that's all we're trying to find is the equation. Any questions on this here? Let's look at the next two. What makes questions 3 and 4 different from 1 and 2? Perpendicular, yes? Well, perpendicular lines have the same slope.
So would this be just 4/7?
Yes, because whenever, yes, opposite reciprocal, we're going to change and flip. Opposite reciprocal, we're going to change it and flip it. So guys, so our new slope, our original slope for the line, as we see here, is -7/4. Opposite reciprocal, we change the sign and flip it. Since it was negative, it's now positive. And if we flip it, 7/4 becomes
4/7.
So our new slope is going to be 4/7. Well, y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Now we are given the point 0, 5. So the y value is 5 equals 4/7 times x minus Guys, let's focus up here. The next thing we can do is distribute the 4/7. So we have y minus 5. 4/7 x. What is 4/7 times 0? Do we need to write anything there? No, we can just leave it off. We don't need it. What do we do next? Add 5 to both sides. Four sevenths x plus yes. Now, right, because since the 4/7 does have an x, they're not like terms. Now, if it was 5x, we would add it. If they both have x, then we will add them. But if they don't have the same variables attached to them, we can't combine them. They're not the same.
That's the answer?
That's the answer. Questions on this here? We ready for the next one? So, find the line perpendicular to the given line and passes through the point. So original slope was 3, yes? So we need to change it.
So 3 over, or 1 over 3.
It would be 1 over 3, because since the sign of the original slope is positive, our new slope would be negative. Now,
Negative 1 over 3.
now for any whole numbers, when we flip it, it is always going to be 1 over whatever the number is. Whenever we flip a whole number, it's always going to be 1 over whatever that number is. So here, since the whole number is 3, when we flip it, it becomes 1/3. Since it started out positive, it's now negative. Now we go back to the y minus y1 equals n times x minus x1. Now we plug in our point y1 and x1. Well, the y value for our point is negative 12. This slope is 1/3 x minus
Okay, if you put 12 first instead of the x, would it be the same?
it would not, because we need the minus sign. Because if we plugged it in as negative 12 plus x, it would still work out the same. But it's better to just leave it as this here so we don't have to worry about a conflict of signs. Over here, negative, negative 12. The negative and negative make a positive. Over here, we can distribute the negative 1/3, which will tell us y plus 12 is equal to x. Negative and negative would make a 1/3 times 12 is
Wait, why would it make a, why would it make it a positive? It's not a negative 12.
because negative 1/3 times negative 12. Yep. Yep. Because we could, if we dealt it as positive 12, we would have minus negative 4, and that negative and negative would give us a positive. Either way, it will work out. And last but not least, we need to exactly subtract 12 from both sides.
Wait, you could just subtract 4. What would you subtract?
We would subtract the 12 because we want to get y by itself. So we want to move everything over towards x. And that is it here. Any questions on any of this here? So again, I hope that you all have been writing these down, yes? You'll get points for correcting it if you leave. Yep. Because again, this is what I talk about test corrections and doing those. That's all this is you just go back and correct the ones you got wrong. So you work them back out, get the correct answer, you will earn back half the points that you lost for that problem. So if you lost 4 points for that problem, you get 2 back.
Okay, when you flip, what's that called?
Reciprocal. So you can think of it as change the sign and flip it. That'll do the same thing.
Are we going to use this on the test?
Yes, this will be on the test.
I would have got each right if I would have gotten the question right.
All right, guys, so the last thing we're looking at is 5, 6, 7, and 8. So, corresponding angles. How many sets of corresponding angles should we have? 4, because there's always going to be 4 sets of corresponding. Alternate interior, alternate exterior will have how many pairs? 2. And consecutive interior angles will have how many pairs? 2. The only one that's going to have 4 is our corresponding. They're the ones that match up. So if we look at this here, angle 8 And what other angle would match up with angle 8? 1. Because angle 8 is to the left of the transversal, the line that cuts them both, and above, and 1 is to the left and above. Angle 15. And 19, because angle 15 is to the right and above. 19 is to the right and above the line. We also have angle 21 and, because angle 21 is to the left of the transversal, the line cutting them, and below. 3 is to the left and below. They correspond to each other. They're in the same location.
So like 1 and 8, 21, 3,
Mm-hmm.
6, 30.
Yes. Sometimes it's just one little misconception that makes it hard to realize. So 6, alternate exterior angles. Well, exterior means outside, yes? So we're looking outside the two lines, which is 8, 15, 3, and 6, because they're outside. And alternate means opposite. So if we look at angle 8 and, yes, and then angle 3 and 15. Alternate interior, so interior is going to be between the lines and on opposite sides of the transversal. Yes. And lastly, consecutive interior angles. Consecutive means one after the other. And interior is going to be inside, guys. So we'd have 21 and consecutive interior and 1. So interior is inside?
And then 30 and 19.
Yes. Yes. Thank you. 30 and 1, yes, for alternate interior.
Hey,
Is that an 8? Or
what's
that's
that 21 is?
Angle 1. Are there any other questions on this here?
Yeah.
That was really hard. No, this is actually pretty simple. I kind of like this is one of the most especially that last page.
So you still get the partial, you still get the makeup points from that.
One part I don't.
So do you have any other questions on how this works? Does that make sense after going over it? Now, guys, with these here, corresponding alternate interior, alternate exterior angles, pairs of angles, guys. Focus up here. If the two lines are parallel, what do we know about corresponding alternate exterior and alternate interior angles? They are congruent, because the corresponding angles are congruent if the lines are parallel. Alternate exterior and alternate interior angles will be congruent if the lines are parallel, and vice versa. Consecutive interior angles are not congruent, they are, starts with an S, supplementary angles. They add together to be 180. Do we need to see any more examples of parallel and perpendicular lines, finding those? Okay. All right, guys. There is this worksheet. This worksheet here is going over finding the equation of a line that is parallel or perpendicular to the given line and passes through the given point. That's what we just did. I will be taking those quizzes back up here in a minute. This here, if you want to do it, it is completely optional.
How many points we get? If we do.
Yes, of what we did on 1 through 4. It is optional. You do get bonus points from it.
how many?
There are 8 problems, so 8 points for doing this here. Now, to make sure that you do get it and want to make sure that you get it right, I have already uploaded the correct answers for this in Google Classroom. And as it says there, if you want to get the bonus points, just putting the answer on the page will not get them. It's doing the work itself. Okay? Now, the reason I did that is because, again, we're going over the review sheet tomorrow, and your test is Friday. So the Thursday, we're going over the review sheet. Yeah, we're going over the study guide tomorrow, guys, and the test is Friday. So the possibility, guys,
Hey, McLean, she went here last Wednesday.
okay, I'll get that handled here in a second. Guys, so the possibility of you guys getting this done, getting it back to me getting it graded and handed back to you before the test to make sure you did these right is very low unless you get it to me right now and then I hand it back tomorrow. So what I did is I went on and posted the answers to this so that you can check to make sure you got the right answer so that you know you're doing it right. I'm giving you bonus points for actually doing the work turned in. So if you do the work and the steps out, I will give you the points for it. You should know that you got the right answer or not because, again, in Google Classroom, under this assignment for today, those are already posted. Okay? If you want to do this, hey, Eric, can you come pass these out for me for any of those that want it?
Hey, McLean, I will not be here tomorrow. I will also not be here. We're going to a ski team. You want one?
Okay.